Alright guys, welcome back to Card Sharks. So Noah's the champion with $3,000. He's going to play against Meltdown. How you doing, Meltdown?
Okay.
You want to tell the viewers about yourself?
Oh, we've seen him plenty of times actually before.
Yeah. Or you want to just get into this game?
I think he just wants to get into the game. Yeah.
Alright, well let's just get into it.
No, Meltdown, I don't think has played Card Sharks before.
He's never played Card Sharks before?
9.
Okay, it's a question of high or low. The goal is to work your way across the board predicting whether the next card is higher or lower than the ones that preceded, okay?
Okay.
And it's a survey game also, okay? You'll see how it works. Noah will do the first question, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And Noah, here's your question. We asked 100 fifth graders, do your parents have trouble when trying to help you with your math homework? How many parents says yes, they have troubles while helping the fifth graders with their math homework?
Sometimes fifth graders do have problems with their homework, and they often ask their
Well, we're saying the parents. Remember, the parents are trying to help them with the fifth graders' homework.
The parents. Okay, my bad.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the parents do help their fifth grade child with their homework. Sometimes not. I'm gonna say around the. Okay, I'm gonna say about 44.
44 says Noah. Okay, now Meltdown, do you believe the answer that Noah said is higher or lower than 44, Meltdown?
The answer would be lower.
Lower, okay. If it is lower, Meltdown, you'll play your cards first. If it is not lower, Noah will play his cards first. If it's 44 exactly, he'll get a $500 bonus. All right, the actual answer of the number of parents that have trouble when trying to help their children with their math homework is 53 is not lower, it is higher. So Noah, you have the control here. All right, you have the option of playing your card or changing it. Your card's an 8, Noah.
I'll change it.
You want to play that 8? Higher or lower then?
No. I said change it.
Oh, he said change it. Oh, okay. I was about to say. The 8 becomes a jack. Better card.
Lower.
Lower than a jack. It's a 9.
Lower.
Lower than a 9. Ooh, it's a king. That means you go back to your jack and Meltdown. You have a free shot at the cards. You have to play off of this one. It's an ace in Meltdown. Higher or lower?
Higher.
Well, it's an ace. ACE.
Ace is the highest card.
No, lower.
There you go. Lower than the ace.
There we are.
Okay, now Meltdown, you have a queen. Now you can choose to play on and keep on calling higher or lower on the cards all the way through to the end of the deck. But if you make one mistake, you know you'll go back to your base card. Now, do you want to make the next prediction, or do you want to freeze right there?
Lower.
He's going lower than a queen. It is low. You have a 4, Meltdown. What do you think now? Do you want to go make another prediction, or do you want to freeze?
Freeze.
Okay, he's going to freeze right there on the 4. Fair enough. And it'll be your high-low question, Meltdown. So we did the 5th graders. This time, we asked 100 3rd graders this time. Who do you think are happier? Children or grown-ups? How many children said that they are happier than the grown-ups?
I would say about 45.
45. Okay. Noah, do you think that number is higher or lower than 45?
I'll say higher.
Higher than 45. Okay, let's check it out. The actual number of children that says that the children are happier than the grown-ups is 77. It is higher. Good job, Noah. Yeah, you have that jack to play with. You want to continue with that jack, or do you want to change it?
I'll go lower.
Lower than a jack. Oh, you're getting hit all over, Noah. That is a queen. All right, you have to play off the 4, Meltdown. Higher or lower than a 4?
Higher.
Higher than a 4. It's an 8. 7 plus 1. You want to continue and make the next prediction, or do you want to freeze right there?
3-3 there.
He's freezing in the 8. Okay. And we go to our third question in this round, and it is going to Noah. Noah, according to a survey by California Pizza Kitchen, what percent of millennials said they would not go on a second date with someone if they ate their pizza with a fork and a knife? I'll read it again. According to a survey by California Pizza Kitchen, what percent of millennials said they would not go on a second date with someone if they ate their pizza with a fork and a knife?
I mean, he said they won't.
Right. I'll read it again. What percentage of millennials said they would not go on a second date with someone? In other words, these millennials are going on a date with someone, okay? And
yes, sir.
And they have that option to go on a second date with them. But how many of them would not go on a second date with them if they're eating with a fork and a knife while they're eating pizza?
Well, I don't do that, but my mother does that sometimes, but mostly not. But I'm going to say 43.
43, Noah says. Okay, Meltdown, do you believe that number is higher or lower than 43?
I would say higher.
Higher than 43. All right, the actual number of millennials said that they will not go on a second date with if they eat pizza with a fork and a knife is only 32. Is not higher, is lower. Blanky, what do you think about that question?
I think people need to let others do what they want.
I agree.
Like, I hear the same thing with people who pour milk before the cereal. Like, so what? It's their choice.
Right. Yeah, but that was these questions will make you think. Well, Noah, you have control. You still on the jack, Noah. You want to keep it or go ahead and predict?
I'm gonna go lower, Robbie.
Lower than jack. It's a 6. What do you think now?
I'll go higher.
Higher than a 6. No! Noah is having bad luck with these cards. All right, Meltdown. To win the first game, Meltdown, higher or lower than the 8?
Lower than the 8.
For the first game and $500 lower than the 8? Yeah, Meltdown, you got $500. Okay.
Take a poker hand out of that.
Yeah, no poker hands right there. You just get the $500, Meltdown. You won game 1. We're going on to the second game, and we're going to start with this hollow question with Meltdown. Noah needs this to tie it up, and here we go. All right, Meltdown, we ask 100 dads, have you ever used your kid's name as an internet password? How many dads said that they have used their kid's name as an internet password?
I'd say around 40.
Going 40. All right, Noah, do you believe that number is higher or lower than 40?
I'll say higher.
Higher than 40. Let's check it out. The actual number of dads that have used their kid's name as an internet password is 63. It is higher. Good, Noah. All right, here's your opening card, Noah. Your card is a 5. You want to keep it or change it?
I'll keep it and go higher.
Higher than a 5. It's a jack.
Lower.
Lower than a jack. It's a 5. than 5? It's an 8.
I'll freeze.
He's freezing there. He's one card away from tying the match up. And we go to your question, Noah. And the next question is here. All right, so we asked 100 teenagers, can social media, this is a good question, Blanky. This is a good question. Wait till you hear this one. We asked 100 teenagers, can social media be as bad for you as drugs or alcoholic addiction? Okay, think about this. How many said yes, social media can be as bad for you as drug and alcohol addiction?
Well, thankfully, I don't really use much social media except here on Discord.
Right.
And YouTube.
On YouTube, yeah, I do that. I mainly do both both of those. Now normally, teenagers think that it's okay for social media, but nowadays it's just terrible with teenagers nowadays. I'm gonna say 45, Rodney.
Going 45. All right, Meltdown, do you believe that number is higher or lower than 45?
Lower.
Lower than 45. Okay. The actual number of teenagers that say yes, social media can be as bad as a drug or alcohol addiction is 36. It is lower, just a little lower though. Meltdown got control of the cards now. Meltdown, here's your card. You have a 2.
Hi.
He's going higher. It's a king. You want to freeze right there or go on to the next card?
Lower.
Lower than a king. It's an 8, 7 plus 1. Freezing or continuing?
Lower.
He's going for it. Lower than an 8. No, it's a jack, and you go all the way back to the 2. All right, Noah, if you call it right, we'll have a tiebreaker. Higher or lower than an 8?
I'll go lower, Rodney.
Lower than 8 for the tie game? No, it's a 10. So we go on to another question here, and it goes to Meltdown. Here's your question, Meltdown. We asked 100 people if your friends asked you to care for their pet hamster while they were away and your cat ate him, would you tell your friends the truth or buy a new hamster?
Which question we at, by the way?
We're on question 3.
Okay.
Yep. So we asked 100 people if your friends asked you to care for their pet hamster while they were away and your cat ate him, would you tell your friends the truth or buy a new hamster and keep quiet? How many people said they will buy a new hamster, Meltdown?
50.
He's going with 50. Noah, do you think that number is higher or lower than 50?
I'll say lower.
Lower than 50. Okay, let's check it out. The actual number of people that said that they would buy a new hamster and lie and keep quiet about it is 59. It is not lower, it is higher. Okay, so Meltdown, you have the control. You can change that 2 if you want to, but 2 is a good card. What do you think?
Higher.
Higher than a 2. Is a jack. Freeze or make a prediction.
Once again.
What was that, Blanky?
Freeze or guess again.
Lower.
Lower than a jack. It's a 7. Do you want to freeze or make another prediction?
Freeze.
He's freezing on the 7, and we had our 4th question, so that means somebody must win off of this play of the card, so control is crucial here. So we go to Noah. Is that right, producer?
Yeah, because Meltdown got the last question.
Right. So it's Noah's. Here we go. Noah, we asked 100 police We asked 100 police officers, do you ever feel guilty about giving a traffic ticket? How many police officers said yes, that they do feel guilty about giving a traffic ticket?
I'm going to say 45, Rodney.
Going 45. Y'all love 45, that number. All right. Higher or lower than 45?
I would say higher.
Higher, okay. The actual number of police officers that feel guilty about giving a traffic ticket is only 29. It's not higher, it's lower. So, Noah, you have it, and you have an important decision. Now, Noah, you have an 8 showing up there. You can choose to play off that 8 or change that 8 if you want to. And if you mess up, Meltdown will win. Now, Meltdown has a 7 there. He cannot change the card because he did not win the question. You can make him play it. If he messes up, we have a tie game. What do you want to do? Do you want to play it yourself, Noah, or pass it to Meltdown? Can y'all guys hear me?
You went blip for a second.
Oh, I saw it, yeah. Okay, so, alright, so, what do you want to do now? Do you want to play the card yourself or pass it to Meltdown?
I'll play it and change the card.
Alright, the 8 becomes an ace. Now, if you call it right, we have a tie game and we'll do a sudden death situation. If you mess up here, Meltdown is the champion.
Well, it's an ace. Obviously, you gotta go lower.
Lower than the ace?
Come on.
You did it, Noah. Good job. So we give you $500 for winning the game. There was a pair up there. So you have actually won another 1,000. So you have $4,500 right now. And we're going to our one-question showdown to determine who's going to be the overall champion. And this question goes to Meltdown now. And here's your question, Meltdown. We surveyed 100 people. Have you ever spent the night sleeping in a sleeping bag? Or have you ever spent the night in a sleeping bag? How many people say yes, they have spent the night in a sleeping bag, Meltdown?
Around 60.
What's your number?
60.
Going with 60. Noah, do you think that number's higher or lower than 60?
Well, I mean, some people do sleep in a sleeping bag. Some people don't. Like me, for example, when I go camping, I don't do like the tents and stuff. I got a camper. I'm gonna say lower.
Lower. Alright. The actual number of people that have spent the night sleeping in a sleeping bag is 74. It's not lower, it's higher. Okay, Meltdown, we're gonna turn over your card. And your blank, now Noah's card is a jack, and Meltdown's card is a 10. Now, Meltdown, you have the opportunity to play this card or change the card if you feel confident of doing it so. However, you can also pass it to Noah. He has a jack showing, but whoever goes all the way to the end wins the game. If you fail to go all the way to the end, you lose the game. So, what do you think, Meltdown? Do you want to play this card or pass it to Noah?
I'd like to go lower.
He's going for it. He's going lower. Lower than the 10, Blanky. It's a 5. All right. Call it right, Meltdown. Win the game. Higher or lower than a 5?
Higher than a 5.
For the game, higher than a 5? You're the winner, Meltdown. There's another $500. You have won $1,000, Meltdown. Now, congratulations. Noah, you're going home with $4,500. And our congratulations. All right, Meltdown, you ready to go to the money card?
Meltdown, you're in the money cards.
Alright, Meltdown. So here, do you know how the money cards is played, Meltdown?
No.
Okay, I'll explain the rules of that. So the way the money cards is played is you're gonna predict whether the next card is higher or lower than the ones that are preceding it. Okay, you're gonna start off with $200. Okay,
Okay.
of betting money. Okay, you're gonna work your way across the bottom, predicting whether those cards are higher or lower than the one that is preceding it. Then we're gonna bring you up to the second level. We're gonna give you $400 of new betting money, and you're gonna work your way across the second level, predicting whether those cards are higher or lower than the ones that preceded. And now remember, $50 is the minimum bet that you have to bid on each card, and you must bid in $50 multiples. Okay?
Okay.
Until you get to the big bet. The big bet, you can risk at least half of your money, okay? Alright? If you're lucky enough and go all the way, you could win $32,000, okay?
Now, if you were to hit 32,000, you're gonna make something called the perfect hand, and the perfect hand is getting to 32,000, which will break our jackpot. Kind of like beat the devil on the Joker's Wild.
And what's the jackpot, Blanky?
$150,000, and will increase with every game. Since no one lost the last game, we're going to increase it by 25,000, so it's currently sitting at 175,000.
There you go. Are you ready to play? And if you need help, Meltdown, you can use 3 of your health cards if you have a card that you don't like, okay?
Okay.
Alright, with that said, we're going to turn over this first card. What's the first card, Blanky? We have a jack. Do you want to keep it or change it?
Keep it.
Okay, what's your wager? You have $200 to play with.
$50 on the next card.
Okay, you're going to be $50. $50
higher or lower?
Higher or lower?
Higher.
$50 higher than the jack. Ooh, good call. It's a king. You have $250 and a king now. Do you want to play off the king or do you want to predict?
125 lower.
Okay, you have to bid in $50 multiples.
Okay.
He said 125. That's allowed.
Oh, he could do 125? Okay.
Yeah, because this is based off the other version. You can do it like that. I can enter it at any amount.
Okay. Well, 125. And what's your prediction? Higher or lower?
Lower.
Lower than the king. You have $375. Okay, you're up to $375 in the jack. You want to keep the jack or you want to change it?
Keep the jack.
And what's your next wager? You have $375 to play with.
150.
150, and then higher or lower?
Lower.
Lower than a jack. Very good. You have $525. We move you up to the next level and give you $400. You have $925 and a 5 showing. You want to keep that 5 or do you want to change it?
Keep the 5.
And you have $925 to work with. How much we're wagering?
200.
He says 200, higher or lower than the 5?
Higher.
$200 higher than the 5? Good, you have a jack. You have 1125 and a jack. You want to keep the jack or
keep
change?
The jack.
Okay, and what's your wager?
250.
He's going with
lower.
250 lower than a jack. Good, you have 1375 and a 10. Okay, do you want to keep that 10 or do you want to change it?
Keep the 10.
Okay, and how much your wager this time?
300 lower than a 10.
$300 lower than a 10? Good, you have a 2. Okay, now you have $1,675. I know you're keeping the 2, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay, so Let me see. Now I have to use a calculator.
Now, Rodney, he's at the big bet.
Right. So I have to use a calculator, figure that out. Hang on 1 second. Here we go. So your minimum would be, so you have to bid $838 as your minimum bet, Meltdown, but you can bid more on this too. What's your big bet?
You can go all in because it's a deuce.
Yeah, you can't lose in the two.
Going 1,000 higher than a 2.
You still gonna go 1,000?
Yes.
For $1,000 higher than a 2? Good! Very good! $2,675, Meltdown. Very nice. With your $1,000 that you have won earlier, you have $3,675. And that is going to be all the time we have for Card Sharks. This is Rodney1279 signing off, saying be safe, be careful, take care everybody, and stay blessed. Goodbye, y'all.
All right, Rodney, we got a new game we can do together.
Yes, we do.